Mother's Day energy.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jennifer Gamble with Next Level Guitar, and I'm here to teach you today some really cool rock riffs. And this one here, this next one is kind of a little bit challenging because it combines not only sliding chord progressions, so you have to use your left hand technique in sliding chords up and down the neck, but it also involves some some picking techniques, some really rhythmic picking techniques at the same time. So you have to get those two together and get them to play well together. So, hopefully you can get something out of this one. Let me play the riff for you, and then I'm just going to play a simplified version of this riff, and then we'll break it down and show it to you. So it sounds like this. All right, so for this particular riff, this is a rock riff, but I'm actually going to use a clean setting with my Les Paul. And so on my amp, I've just set it so it's kind of bright, and I took most of the distortion away, so it's nice and crisp and clean. So, you kind of have to play this with this riff with aggression. You can't be just holding back chugging because there's no distortion to cover it up. It's clean, right? So all the notes, you need to hit when you slide up. You need to hit that note properly, and when you play the chords, you want to pick the right strings, or it's going to sound, it's going to sound off, and you'll be able to hear it because your guitar is set clean, right? And if it's distorted, it's just going to be way too noisy. It's going to sound all mushed up because it goes by really fast, and all the sliding and everything. So let me just break it down and show you the chords, and then I'll show you the picking, and we'll put it all together. So to begin with, I'm going to start by doing a little slide off of my third finger, and this slide starts on the 7th fret of the A string and slides up to the 9th fret, like that. So when you start the slide, you pluck with your third finger down on that 7th fret, pluck with your pick, and then slide your finger up while it's ringing. Slide it up 2 frets to the 9th fret, okay? And it has to be done kind of in a fluid motion. So practice that slide. Kind of all at once, right? So get that slide down, and then the first chord, it's like a mini chord. It's actually a D, but all I'm playing is I'm laying my first finger across the strings on the 7th fret. Just lay them flat across the string, across the strings, your first finger. So it's just covering it's covering your D string and your G string, your B string, and your high E. But when I pick it, I'm really only picking like the G and the D string, mostly just those two strings. It's kind of like a triad, like a mini chord. If you get the B string in there, that's okay too. It'll sound fine. So go ahead and just play that slide and that little chord. Okay, that's pretty simple, right? Now this next one is a little bit harder because we actually have to play a chord and slide it at the same time. So it'll be like, it'll be a whole, like a triad chord, and we're sliding it. So this chord is it's actually an E minor 7, sorry. This is an E minor 7 chord. So let me just show you the notes, and all you have to do is hold it down and slide it up. So the notes are, you could do a little bar chord here on the 7th fret, with your first finger, and if you're not familiar with bar chords, or you're not ready to play them, then this might not be the riff for you. You might want to come back to it after you've learned bar chords, after going to nextlevelguitar.com and checking out how to learn bar chords. Okay, so this is a minor 7 bar chord, and you play with your first finger down on the 7th fret, and then your third finger is going to go down on the 9th fret of the D string. And then your middle finger is going to go down on the 8th fret of the B string, right there, and that makes your chord. D string, 9th fret, B string, 8th fret. So you've got your middle finger there on the B string, your third finger on the D string, the 9th fret, and your first finger's laying across to make the chord. Just go ahead and play that chord, okay? The whole thing. That's a minor 7 chord. So I'm actually only playing the 3 strings, D, G, and B. Those 3 strings are the only ones I'm going to try to pick with my pick. So pick them, and then slide it up 2 2 frets to the 9th fret. So by the time you get up there, your first fingers should be resting on the 9th fret, while your other fingers hold that same position. Okay, that's still holding that minor chord. So let's try it again. Get your fingers in position, pluck the strings, and then quickly slide up to the 9th fret. One more time. Do you see that? Pluck, slide. Just like we're sliding with the 3rd finger, only this time we're holding down all the strings and sliding. So, you know, you have to pinch and then loosen, slide, and pinch again. Okay, so that's your chord slide. That's probably the most challenging part, or one of the most challenging parts. So let's just go from the beginning and do up to that chord slide. So start with your 3rd finger slide. Now do your chord slide. Okay. Now from there, we go back to our E minor 7. So back down 2 frets. That's it. Okay, so we're going from the E minor 7 back to the D chord. Okay, we already learned both of those chords, right? So we just went up and then back down again. That was all we did. So we did the slide, the D chord, the E minor 7, slide it, back to the E minor 7, and then back to the D. Okay, that's the first part. Now if you got that, you're ready to move on. So let's move on. So for the next part of the song, most of this you've already learned. We do that same 3rd finger slide again off of the A string, the same one we did at the beginning, back to that D chord, and then back to the E minor 7, to the D, and now we got a new chord coming up and it's the A. And I'm just doing like the top part of an A barred chord. It's like the triad up here at the 5th fret. So let me show you those notes. It's just I'm playing my 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the D string, and then my middle finger is on the 6th fret of the G string, and my 1st finger is on the 5th fret of the B string. In fact, you could even play your 1st finger, just lay it down across the B and the high E, and play both of those notes, the B and the high E, at the 5th fret. Place your 3rd finger down, 6th fret of your G string, and then 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the D string. And that's your little mini A chord. And that's your last chord. So putting it all together now, let's just play it all the way through. We'll start with that slide riff to the D, to the E minor, slide it up, go back to the E minor, to the D, now do the slide again, to the D, E minor, A. Now if you notice, I did a little hammer on my E minor. I went from my D, and I hammered on my 2 fingers to play my E minor chord. So that's a little technique you can use also. Then back to your A. Okay? So let's just do it one time together, real slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. Good job, people. I hope you had fun with that one. And that is a really good technique to learn. Once you learn to play that, it's like really fun to play. And once you get the speed up and you can start adding little rhythmic patterns in between like this. So that's a lot of fun to play. It's a really cool little classic rock riff, and hope you enjoyed it. And I am Jennifer Gamble signing off. I will see you next time.